Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Basil Green, and welcome again to the Bread Basket Show. We are speaking about responsible leadership, and tonight's topic is about the masters of the game. So, we are going to be talking about this game that has been played called politics. Yesterday, I shared a little bit on our intercession night. Today, I think we should continue this conversation regarding the game of politics. I dubbed the message yesterday was Politics, the Dirty Game. So today we are speaking about masters of the game. So there are people that are orchestrating things in our nation and in the nations of the world. These are people that have superpower. So they are the superpowers of this world that are governing and orchestrating what is happening in our world. So in my last book, I shared a story that I made up about the We Make You City Nation Builder Company. Now, the book is called What Good Can Come From This. That's actually book 3 of the Ultimate Productivity Quest series. So these people are similar to what I shared in my story in the book. And you don't see them. Most of them, some of them are behind the scenes orchestrating, and then some of them just pop up. I remember I spoke about that Rupert guy that came out and on national TV and told Cyril Ramaphosa that he should take care of Ace Mahashule. Hey, this happens a lot. So Ace Mahashule, I'm just forgetting the name of the person. So I just had to draw some dots. Ace Mahashule was the person that they said Cyril Ramaphosa must take care of. And after that guy said he's going to be taking away his support from Cyril Ramaphosa did what he was told. So all along, these guys were probably telling him, you must take step A, step B, step C, step D, E, F, G, H, I. So you don't know how many other things they told him to do. If he doesn't do it, they're going to pull their support away from him. Now, that support could be also the protection that Cyril Ramaphosa has. And we know there are many presidents all over the world who are protected. They seem to be in so many scandals, yet they do not get into trouble. So these things need the hand of God, and we need God to come through to do what he wants to be done in our nation. Now, I'm not vilifying our current president, Cyril Ramaphosa. I am just stating an observation similar to what we saw after Jacob Zuma was getting into trouble. We saw Shabir Sheikh coming out. We saw people like the Guptas coming out and other individuals, but mainly the Guptas were said to have been speaking in his ear. Well, in the words of Julius Malema, that they were in Cyril Ramaphosa's ear, our former presidents. So these are the things that we find. But on TV, I saw that there is a death in their family. So I also want to say condolences to the Zuma family if there is somebody that knows them, or maybe by chance that one of them ends up listening to this thing. Let's just say condolences to the Zuma family if there was really a death in the family. I was watching the news about a few minutes ago and I saw Zuma funeral. I don't know whose funeral is that. So if there's really a death, I like to say my condolences to their family. But at the end of the day, we know that certain things happen in our country, and there are masters of this game that these politicians are playing. I didn't want to go into this field, especially because of how this game is played. Now, there are people who are powerful, and if you do not make them become your backup, you do not get anything. Well, that's what they suppose. Me, I know my backup is God, and the moment He pulls away His backing from me, I know I'm a sitting duck. Then it means God has decided that it's my time to go. If He doesn't protect me, like Job, he asked Satan. He told Satan, "You can do whatever you want to do with him, but you can't take his life." So Job was still protected by God in that sense. But if God decides that now, my boy, your time is up, it's time for you to come home, I won't complain. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and to be present with the Lord is fullness of joy. So there's fullness of joy. So I experience a lot of moments of joy right now, but to be in His presence eternally is going to be way much better than we are experiencing right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in our nation and in the nations of the world, and I believe there are masters that are pulling strings, and they are causing things to take place. We saw also, and in America, they believe that also the former president of that country is also trying to pull his strings. One of the former presidents by the name of Barack Obama. And I've also watched a prophecy that was mentioned, and the guy put that as a confirmation as to what was happening in the White House. The guy was Prophet Makandiwa that was speaking about it. So I know that these guys won't just make up stuff about these leaders. I believe the Lord is speaking through them, because we see these things taking place even in our own nation. The powerful always want to pull strings. They want to have leverage over who leads in the country, and if they get you there, you have to do what they say to you. So you think you're making a strategic partnership. At the end of the day, you are just making yourself that person's employee in a sense. You are putting yourself up for failure. So it's similar to many traps that we experience in our lives, where we think things are going to be easy, and we end up not seeing it. I read a article today on my LinkedIn profile. Well, it was on my profile. I just don't remember that guy's name, but he made a very, very good analogy with a mouse. He said there was a mouse who was put on a jar that was full of grain. So when the mouse stood on top of the jar, it was happy. Now it knew that everything that it wanted was given to it. And the more it ate, the more free that it felt. It was so easy for it to get there because everything was done for it. By the time it was finished eating all of that stuff, it never realized that now it had to depend on somebody to keep feeding it, because it was at the bottom of the jar, and this jar, it wasn't easy for it to just climb out of it. So while it was at the bottom of the jar, it needed that person who put all the grain on the top up until the top to actually feed it now. So in life, don't think things that come easy are just going to be simple. You are setting yourself up for failure, especially if there's somebody who has an agenda. Those people that are powerful, the masters of the game, they want something out of you, and if you take that stuff, you are going to end up in a very bad situation. At the end of the day, you will find yourself trapped. So we have to be aware of this. You have to be conscious of it, that you don't make agreements with people. The agreements must always be a win-win-win situation for everybody that is involved, especially if you are trying to reach a certain target market or trying to influence a certain group of people. You must win, I must win, and my target market must win. I always write that. I've got my sponsorship that I write. When I'm looking for sponsorship deals, I learned that when I was doing my extensive research while I was at Shanduka Black Umbrellas. That time of the Shanduka Black Umbrellas is just Black Umbrellas now. But at the time, during 2015 and 2017, in that period, I actually never finished the program. That was due to me having so many challenges. I decided, okay, in fact, they said it in a style, I had to read in between the lines. That, hey, you know what, my time is up here. I needed to just go and find something else to do. I never closed my business. I'm still continuing with it, but that period of time was over. At least I got some training, thanks to a couple of mentors that were there that took the time to teach me some stuff. I attended the workshops, even though I never get any certificates, but the learning can never ever be taken away from me. At least I walked away with something. But I used to do a lot of research, and some of my research was actually left on the computer there at Shanduka Black Umbrellas. But there was a period of time where I learned that you don't only make win-win situations where it's only the two of you winning. Let's just say there is a politician who wants to make his way forward now in the political arena. He gets somebody who is going to help him get to that place. Well, that person is also going to want to win, and then the politician also wants to win, but the people as well must also win when the relationship is put together. I'm going to make an example with the sponsorships that I looked out for. In one of the things I spoke about was that we have to create this win-win situation. Well, the sponsor will win, I will win, the sponsor will win in that they get something that will help their organization. I will win in that I get to go and do what I want to do with my target market, and my target markets or my target audience, or the people that I'm going and speak and do my events and do my educational things that I do in my company, will also experience a win. And then all of us are creating this relationship that we all gonna experience something. No one walks away a loser at all. Everybody must walk away having gained something positive from the relationship. So in other cases, these guys that want control and power, some of them come and become your master, in that you don't create a partnership. You must do whatever that person says, and if they see that now you are not making decisions that benefit them, even if you're not going to benefit in any way, you are going to lose, and they're going to stop supporting you. So if it's going to destroy you, and I'm saying this here in a sense because that man, when he spoke, Cyril Ramaphosa, they did not like him as a result of certain things that were going on in the ANC. But that was like a move. If you're playing chess, it was like taking one of his like major pieces off the board and leaving the king in checkmate. So there's a move that he has to make, and if he does not make the right move, the game is going to be over. So these are masters of the game. And as this person came out and spoke, I believe that there was something that took place and it caused a rift. It just gave them more anger and more ammunition to say that Cyril Ramaphosa is actually selling them out in the ANC. Now, I'm not trying to cause division in this party because I'm not part of that party, but I'm just pointing out an observation that when that took place, they probably must have seen, okay, now we are being taken for a ride by this man that is in leadership in our party. Now it's not my party, it's their party. So I'm just trying to repeat, maybe somebody was seeing that. So he's probably in a very, very difficult situation, just like other people who make agreements with these powerful people that ask for favors. And now they are sitting in front of the Zondo Commission. They are left by themselves. They are trapped. They don't know how to get out. And they are probably dependent on these people to try and get out now. Maybe if that person's ability to take them out has been taken away, then they are going to be in real deep trouble. So I believe these masters of the game should be avoided if you know that you're not going to be able to fend for yourself. South Africa has been put in a situation like they are going to become like a colonized nation, and if you put yourself in that situation, you end up becoming dependent on that person. I'm all for independence because independence allows us to be one of the big players in the world. So if our nation becomes independent as a nation and we are no longer dependent on other nations, now meaning that if we are not financially dependent on other nations, and if we got a strong ability to make agreements that if that nation does not come into their agreements, that nation will see, no, we are going to lose big time if we don't come into a partnership, and instead of master and servants relationship. There has to be a win for our nation, a win for that nation, and a win for the people that are experiencing. Not only the two parties that are making an agreement. Maybe the president is making an agreement with some multi-billionaire out there, and only the president benefits, and his cronies in that are under him, that are eating from him, only benefits, and not the rest of the people. And we find that many people start to suffer, and we have to go through difficult things in order for that one or that group of individuals to receive what they are receiving from this master of the game. Now I'm going to call them masters of the game because they are playing a game with all of us. It's just a game for them, and when they finish play the game, the one who wins walks away with the medal, and everybody else that have lost, they must stay and suffer and be like a good sport and continue with their lives. That's why I'm saying that we need to find ways to make ourselves become independent. We have to become independent. And I believe that is one thing that they are fighting here in South Africa and in Africa. They don't want us to have real independence. You know, when you have independence, doesn't mean that you don't need to live your life with other people, but it means that you are free to do the things that you want to do. As a nation, we haven't reached that stage. As a nation, we are very far. We are still dependent. We had to go to I think was the IMF or the UN or something, that had to give us money to help us to deal with certain things here in South Africa when the pandemic hit. Now in South Africa, we have so many resources, and if we were people, or we had leaders who were able to take us from that state of dependency to independence, we were going to be able to say, sorry, we don't need you. We are able to take care of ourselves. And our presidents would not have to listen to people to tell him how he must deal with certain situations in our country. Yes, that man was helping us. Yes, he was helping us to do something, but he's probably got an agenda. Maybe that man is Mahashule is standing in his way because he has things that he wants done in South Africa, and maybe that guy was standing in his way to get certain things done. But at the end, Cyril Ramaphosa only acted when that man told him, if you do not do something, I'm gonna take my support away from you. Now maybe that man got so many people that he brought to the table to help Cyril Ramaphosa. I'm just thinking now out of my mind. Maybe he brought people, and that relationship was so important to our president that he acted. Can you see? And I don't want this to end up in rioting and violence and us destroying the things that we have built in our nation, and then we all gonna suffer. But we have to find ways, as even as individuals, that if something like this, for surely, because we also have a God in heaven who is gonna try and deal with our people here in South Africa, and he's gonna make sure that his will be done here in this nation. That's why I always say, have the fear of God when you are leading, especially if you are leading millions of people. You are going to be accountable for those people, and I don't believe the Lord is going to allow a whole nation to be destroyed because there's a certain group of individuals who don't want to do the right thing that is good for the future of our nation. There's land also being fought for. I believe the nation has been sold out to the highest bidders. Yes, those people helped us when we were coming out of apartheid, and that is a good thing that they've done for us. But it seems like when they went and make agreements with these people, they made agreements with the wrong types of people, because they are coming in here in our nation and they want us to be dependent on them. They are not helping for that real independence to take place in our country. So one person wants to say this, another person wants this, and then we find 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people want different things for this country, and there are so many people fighting for these positions because now there were probably past agreements that have been made that now needs to be fulfilled. And one of these things is also part of the land issue. Now we mustn't forget that, because we can get swindled while we're looking at COVID-19, we're looking at these riots, and then all of a sudden that land issue just gets implemented, and we find us losing our land. So we have to make sure that we also keep our eyes open for that, because we don't know what agreements our leaders made when they were trying to get out of apartheid and to liberate this country. There are many people coming in. There are many people coming to say, owings is payings. This is a term that we use here in Ridge, or specifically also in Durban, that when somebody owes you something, it also means that they have to pay you for that thing. So owings is payings. They are probably saying they coming for what is theirs. So it's important who we make agreements with. Why? Because future generations can be destroyed. These people can come into our country, rake and rake and rake and rake and rake and rake, and go away, leaving us dry and hungry. And then their people on the other side of the world are going to be prospering, while we in South Africa are going to be with hands open asking for handouts. There's nothing wrong with us receiving gifts. There's nothing wrong with us receiving stuff, but it mustn't become part of our strategy that in order for our strategy to come to pass, we're going to go out and ask for handouts or put ourselves in debt, so much so that when we needs a way out, we have to sell our land, we have to sell our resources to these people, and then we are ending up as employees when we are supposed to be the masters of these things. Now, I don't believe in communism. I don't believe that our governments must own everything here in this country. There is a way to do things, and if we allow communism to come into this country, then the government is going to have ultimate power. We can see how they're behaving when it's a capitalist type of system that we are having. How much more if we go full force as a communist nation? So let us watch. Let us become people that are also alert, especially for you who is going into this arena. Now, it doesn't only involve politics, because these guys are very strategic in how they do it. They will cover the political arena. Excuse me. So I'm coughing now. I thought I was gonna make it for a longer session. So, but at the end, we must remember that these guys are strategic in how they're doing it. And before I sneezed, I wanted to say that we have to be alert. We have to be alert because they won't only approach government leaders, they'll also try to leverage their contacts in the business world. That's how they open up gaps for these leaders in the country, where they'll go to a person in leadership as a president or minister, and then they'll go to their connections in the business world and allow those people to back that person, so that when you are busy doing stuff in the country, that president has so much power, even in the business world. When he says, let's do this here, it's done. Why? Because he's got the backing of the master of the game, and that master of the game is benefiting as well, because these things happen. Now, I'm going to share a story with you, and I believe this stuff happened because I wasn't even able to pursue this thing any further, because I knew my stuff has been taken. I spoke about it in my book, I'm Not Trying to Be First, that my system was hacked, my stuff was swiped off my computer, and my research was taken from me, and I left it there. I couldn't get a hold of it. When I look back and I say, hey, maybe these people actually had it planned out, because how was it that I wasn't able to connect to the Wi-Fi? And even when I put my laptop onto the system, I wasn't able to connect to the computer, to the internet. And from that day, they told me that I can only use the computer on there at Shanduka Black and Umbrellas. And when I look back and I think, okay, now my emails were coming through there, my research was getting downloaded onto that system, and I never thought that I was going to get swiped. I never take the stuff off of there as well. So I remember researching places like a Yep and Yes and all of those things, and I'm thinking, okay, is it possible that these people took it and used it for themselves? I got stuff from the Canadian Career Development Foundation as well. I asked for permission to use their stuff, but all of that stuff that I swipe, I compiled. I even put it onto a PDF for myself to use. All of it was removed, even from my email, where I'd stashed it on the cloud. I can't find it even up to now. I still look for it, but thank God I downloaded. I printed maybe a small copy of something where I had to do my practical part of it, so that I can apply all the learning that I took from there. But all the other stuff, I could not find it. I can't even, if I look at my emails now, all the email addresses that I have, I can't see it. It's no longer there. So for me, it's like a conspiracy theory. But I'm going to share the stuff with you. I never write all of that in a book. I don't know. You have to go and check in my book, This Life Is Not For Me, book 2 of the Ultimate Productivity Quest series. So if you want to grab my books, the links are in the description. But once you get that knowledge, I'm going to pray for you, so that you can be able to be covered as well. You know, these things are really true. I've been attacked. My sanity has been attacked. My credibility has been attacked. And I'm not a perfect person. I have my flaws. But when I look at my life and I say, hey, I've worked hard. It takes a lot of work to research. Sometimes I used to sit for hours and hours, don't sleep at night sometimes, because I'm glued to the computer screen, trying to find all the information that could help me to help my target audience and also serve my clients. So I've been looking and looking and looking, and for it to just go away like that. And the moments I try to fight it, the moments I try to get all my information back, it did not transpire. All of it was just swiped. And every time I tried to pursue it, nothing ever happened. Even when I was fighting, when I was losing, in my jobs, things just never moved forward. Why? Because there was people that are powerful that were trying to actually come against me. So these things are for real. If you read my books, sometimes I share and I open up and I tell you what actually happened. But I don't have the ability to provide the evidence, because I even try to get people to search my emails, to go back and backtrack to see who was able to hack into my system. I was just told, hey, you know what? You rather just get a good cybersecurity system, and you will be protected. But we can't help you to track and look back to be able to see who hacked. I've asked quite a few people. I've even asked people on LinkedIn, people that were doing pro bono work. The one guy didn't even being able to answer me, but he was promoting himself as an IT person, and he wanted to do pro bono work. So I realized, for a couple of years I pushed and pushed and pushed, and I had to just let it go and say, hey, in your hands, my Lord. I know that these things were given to me by you, but I'm gonna make sure that I do not pursue this thing, and just continue with the knowledge that I have, apply the stuff that I know, and keep fighting until I attain the victory that has been set aside for me. I know at the end, God will be glorified, not man. God will be glorified, because it is God who changed my life. It is Him who gave me all these things. And for you and I, we have to make sure that we're watching what's happening out there. I had to put myself in there. Why? Because we are seeing things happening in our nation. People are talking, people are voicing what is happening. And when I hear people like Donald Trump even talking about the stuff that he's fighting with, I know that things can happen, and people will say provide evidence. Why? Because it is hard to get that evidence. You need the hand of God. These guys are so skilled in concealing the truth that they will even deceive the Christians. In fact, I saw believers even lose their faith and get pulled by the spirit of deception. I remember yesterday I was saying that I believe our president has some deceptive ways, and there are people under him that have been pulled into that. He's not the only one, but he is more tactical. He is more protected. He is more able to dodge all of the necessary consequences that he needs to face, like especially with the public protector coming after him. And I remember I was in a dream that he was standing and he tried to hide. I don't know if I posted it up on my Facebook page, but he was standing and he was hiding, and there was another minister there. He's a member of parliament, and he was also in there, and they were looking at me and asking me, were we the ones that injured you? And when I looked at my injury, and this injury on my hand, and then I understood that it was a reference to me walking away from a particular situation, and then they coming after me to come and intimidate me and to show that they were bigger than me. That was the reference to the dream. Because I did share that experience a couple of days ago, just before or just as the rioting was starting. I shared that experience with that guy that was a MK veteran. He was part of the MK soldiers. So I shared that, but in my dream that time, I can't remember exactly when I posted this thing. I didn't plan to talk about this, so in maybe in another podcast, I'll reveal to you when I had it. But the dream was that Cyril Ramaphosa was trying to hide that what he was doing. So basically, somebody else was being pointed at, and I believe there are people that are willing to even go to those lengths and take the rap for him. This is how powerful this man has become, that he will be able to even get somebody to take the rap for him, so his name may be protected and he can continue to do what he is doing here on the earth. So the Lord has to verify this. This is my belief, and I believe that it is going to happen. When it comes to pass, he's going to be able to get somebody to cover up for him, that he doesn't go into prison. But the Lord is going to overpower him. I believe that too. He can't run away from what God wants to do in his life. But if he turns to the Lord, these things will be taken away from him. He won't be able to go through all the damage that is lurking upon him. I remember I sent him a message to tell him what God is saying, and they responded, but I don't believe it did anything, because we are seeing a lot of stuff. And yesterday I shared something with you. I haven't uploaded it yet. It was on a live like this one, but I'm gonna upload what I spoke about yesterday. But I shared that I believe there's something lurking in the background, and I don't know how true is this. I still need to verify it, about our government owning a pharmaceutical company that was given a project from Pfizer to actually roll out vaccines. So I don't know why. When I saw that we're going into level 4 again, and all of these stories, this is like creating a need for this thing here, so that it can be rolled out, and it's being prolonged. This afternoon, I kept seeing myself saying that Cyril is the master prolonger. He likes to delay stuff, and I could see that when he was dealing with the Zondo Commission. It was like things were being deliberately delayed because they don't know what to do. Maybe they want to implement another plan. So this delay that we're experiencing by us going back into another level 4 lockdown, and then when the fourth wave that is supposedly supposed to be coming, what ends up happening then? It makes us stay longer in the pandemic, and it's going to give them some time to roll out this thing as they get given this project. The project is supposed to be going on until 2022 or so. So in 2022, there's a few months left. We are almost finishing the 7th month, and we are on level 4 of our lockdown. How long is the level 4 going to last? We don't know. So if they move that, I don't know what's going to happen with them. And they got the deal. Now I remember the person that posted it, but I don't think it's fair for me to say who it is. I'll just post it up on my social media afterwards. On my Instagram. I wanted to post it on, and I'm gonna just share my own observations there. But it also said that this company that is partly owned by our government is also going to be distributing it all over Africa. And I believe we've been sold out. Africa has been sold out. South Africa has been sold out. And we need to have an intervention, where we get leaders who are not going to sell us out. When a leader sells you out, you don't know what it feels like when somebody sells you out in order to get money. And when a leader sells you out, that person is actually showing you that they do not care about you. They're more worried about the position and what comes with that position, and the money that they can make, the money that they can accumulate. All of that comes with the power that they currently have right now. Money, power, prestige, control. When they want to get things done, they will get them done. Why? Because they are the ones in rulership. They are the ones in power. And when the masters of the game want to come and play their game here in South Africa, they just need to speak to these people who are in power. And these people were put by the masters of the game, so they have to do what the masters of the game say. I believe that. I think even as Mandela was called by God, I did share that there was a person that spoke and said that the Lord told her to actually pray and place a demand, in the spirit world, that God wants to use Nelson Mandela. And she uses scripture where Jesus sends his disciples to ask the guy that had his donkeys tied up, and if the master asked, Jesus said, "Why do you want us?" Tell them that the master wants to use his things. So Jesus is the master that they were asking. but these donkeys were being held by a different master. So Jesus is the creator of those donkeys and the creator of that master. And Jesus was going to tell him that I want what I have created and I want to use it for my own purpose. So Nelson Mandela was created by Jesus, and the system was holding Nelson Mandela captive. So Jesus wanted to use Nelson Mandela to actually do his purpose here in South Africa. Now, with this here that's taken place, I believe certain things were done prematurely because the man spent a long time in jail. I believe they made compromises that set us up for certain failures, it became easy. Like I shared that the analogy with the mouse in the jar of grain. Now we're finding ourselves, we are trapped, or our leaders are trapped, and they don't know how to get out of these agreements that they made. And there's infighting in their ranks. There are things that are taking place that are not supposed to be taking place. I believe had they just waited out, being patient to get what they want. Me, I'm a person that won't just agree to do something. And the people around me even ask me, why are you being so stubborn? Because I can see I've been offered stuff, and I saw, no, man, if I go and agree to do these things, I'm gonna put myself in a trap, and I'm gonna find myself being dependent on these people if I end up agreeing to certain things, and I'm gonna find myself having to constantly be under them. But I don't want to be dependent on people. If they want to help me, they can help me, but I can't sell my soul for their help. I'm not gonna do that. I'll wait on God and wait for Him to do what He wants me to do, and in His time He will do it. I believe that. I've seen the results taking traction, and I've seen the things that He has allowed me to accomplish. I think it's a milestone just writing 4 books. They just need to be sold now. These books have been attacked. My history has been attacked. My all of these things I've written about. I was even looking at one thing and I'm saying, hey, is this a human thing or a satanic thing? I was walking down the once Pegasus Road, and I'm seeing, okay, the park in at the bottom of Pegasus, near the swimming pool where I stay. You'll read in my book, This Life Is Not For Me, book 1 of the Ultimate Productivity Quiz series. And I also share about that time of my life also in my book, Solid Ground. The stories are interchangeable. Some have certain depth. Some of them I just talk and I make reference to the other book. But my book, This Life Is Not For Me, I know I spoke about it when the park where we used to come home and swing and be on the swings. Now that section of the park side, that's a section we call park side, is removed, and the people that it's removed. I mentioned certain people are staying there. Now they're no longer staying there because they've moved. A lot of the people that I mentioned aren't staying on that road anymore. But one of the people that I mentioned are staying down the road from me now in New City. And she has a park outside her yard. I'm thinking, God, is this you or something coming from the spirit world, or was this purposely done? And a lot of other things were removed. When I went, I shared about what happened to the fence there at the primary school. It has been moved a little bit in where the grounds are. So the section where I'm talking about, where we used to play or sit with my friends, is no longer there. The fence is still there, but there's a small section left. So it's not really protected. And I think, the devil is a liar. So I'm living in New City now, across the road from the fire station on Central Drive. I used to live in Pegasus when I grew up. So that's all in my book. I can't share all of that stuff. And I thought, wait, man, is this the masters of the game playing their game, or is it just a spiritual thing that is taking place? But at the end, we'll get the truth out, and we will find out. One of the guys I spoke about, I'm not gonna mention his name. There was somebody that warned me, that basically told me that one of his people said that we mustn't mention his name. So he actually sent me a message to us to say, hey, you wrote a book about me. And I thought, hey, what is going on with you? The book is not about you. Yes, I did mention you in the book, but the book is not about you. It's about my life and the experiences that I had in my life. And I just mentioned the people because uh, they were part of the experiences. But he felt I was writing a book about him. Maybe if he wanted to be like a leader or something, somebody maybe that I looked up, but I don't look up to him at the end. He did help me at one stage, but all of that is all gone now. It's in the past, and I did show my appreciation at the time. I'm not the kind of person that will not appreciate what I've been given. So I did show my appreciation, but things just went sour when we became older people. If you want to read about that, you can go and read in my book. This life is not for me. And also, as we get older, I also share about the time where I went and submitted a proposal to him, and how my idea I saw it was used from one of the proposals, and how somebody came and tell me that he used the idea as well. He was paying them 10,000 rand to go and talk at schools. So I felt cheated, but it took me a while, to just say, you know what, I'm walking away. Even though I know that may have made him a lot of money, and his organization a lot of money. I'm sitting here having done all of the work, yet I was not paid for the work that was taken from me. This is one of the challenges I can say that we speak about as believers. I know I'm called by God, and this is how God is dealing with certain situations in our nation. But the masters of the game want to play this game, and they will use people to bring about their purposes here in South Africa. So that's one of the issues. And I was thinking, even as I talk about this, somebody will come and say, I'm talking like this because I'm not healed. When I look at Jeremiah and all these other people, like Isaiah and all these other people that wrote their books, they share their experiences. They share what they had to go through in order to see the word of the Lord being released into their nation. So we as people do have a message for our generation. We are going to experience these things, and we are going to encounter people who I call masters of the game. Well, in my fictitious story, we make you city nation build a company. I think I gave them that name. I just call them that, but they are masters of the game because there's a game being played, and they are playing this game. They are raking money, they are receiving whatever it is that they want, but to us, we are just part of a game that they are playing, and they don't really care about us. I know that. We must just submit to what they do. They think that they can decide when and how we must prosper. So I've had experiences. I can't give you evidence. I can just only share my story here on this podcast and tell you that I've experienced stuff for the sake of what I am doing. I cannot turn back because I've already experienced things and I've seen God's hand upon my life even as I was experiencing all of these things. He's a God of restoration. He's a God of increase. He is a God who allows us to accomplish all that He wants us to accomplish. And I believe that He has a heart for South Africa and the nations of Africa and the nations of the world. And the masters of the game can't always win. Why? Because there is a greater master that has created all of these people that are trapped in this game. And he wants to use them for his purpose. He wants to use you for his purpose. And you are part of a very important plan for the nations. You might maybe just be like me, who is part of a small community. Maybe you don't come from a prestigious family, or you don't come from wealth or generational wealth that has been passed down to you, and you had to work hard to achieve all the things that you have achieved, and you had to work hard to get what you have. You are still significant in the eyes of God. You are valuable in God's plan. And if you avail yourself, I guarantee you that the masters of the game will not have control over you. So our nation needs that liberation. Our nation needs that liberation from this current problem that we are experiencing. And the liberation is called independence. I believe we need to get real independence as our nation, where we can make our own decisions as a nation here in South Africa. We have a long way to go, but with unity as a collective, we can achieve that by doing what we are supposed to do. I don't believe in communism. Why then? That means that we are giving all power to one unit, that will be the government. If they cannot lead our nation as it's free, communism never ever took away greed in man. Communism never ever took the lust of power away from man. It doesn't do that. Communism is not the answer. It's when a person deals with the greed in their heart. That's when a person deals with the lust for the power in their hearts, and when that person deals with certain weaknesses that causes him or her to go after these things, and to neglect doing the right thing when they are needed. So communists can be greedy and capitalists can be greedy. So it's not the problem. It is just a tool that each one of them can use in order to exercise power. So we mustn't go in that direction, I believe. We must carry on working on ourselves and making sure that we are not lured by the greed and for money, by the lust for power. We must make sure that we don't do that. If we're going to get power, we must use it in the right way, not to control people and to oppress people, but use that power to liberate people and to empower people so that they can also become independent. So what's happening now is a very strategic move. If you look at how our government mentioned yesterday, and I'm thinking, okay, is this leading us now to become a nation that's also going to be dependent on this government? The person is the basic income grants, I think they call it, where our government is thinking of implementing that to give our citizens some money. So the basic income grants will help the people, but now is it going to take them out of unemployment? If a person knows that they have a plate of food every single day, is that going to take them out of unemployment? Jobs must be created. That's not the answer to the unemployment. Yes, it will remedy certain things, what is the way forward for our nation? Can we just speak things that are going to help us become independent? We are speaking about independence, yes, it's about the masters of the game. It's like when Jesus took those donkeys so that he can use them. So those donkeys were set free. Nelson Mandela was set free from prison so that he can do things and experience freedom. And then if independence is given to us, it also denotes that we are being set free from dependency. Currently, South Africa is dependent, and we have a very long time to go so that we can become independent. But there's a way to do it, and we mustn't find the wrong way to do it. Second time sneezing. I think I'm gonna close this live recording now. I've said much. No, I don't plan certain things I'm gonna say. I didn't even know what message I wasn't gonna talk, but as soon as I sat down, 3 times I heard masters of the game, masters of the game, masters of the game. So I had been just asking, okay, how am I gonna attack this thing for this week? I'm still working on getting more people to come and do interviews. We are trusting God. Pray for me. Pray for me for my health as well, and pray for me to have strength as well, also to do this thing. In everything that we are doing, there are people that are going to resist us. Why? Because they don't want certain things to take place. If those things take place, especially if we start to become independent as individuals, we won't become dependent on our government. And if we as a nation start to become independent as well, we won't become dependent on world donors, these IMFs and all of these other UNs and these other countries that are coming to come and take control of our resources. Communism won't help us. It's God who can help us to become independent. And the moment we allow the communist agenda to come here into our nation, we are going to have trouble, because the government's going to tell us when and how to breed and how much we must earn. I think we should try that with them first and see how their lives are going to be. They're stealing money. Maybe they are preparing for the time where the government's going to tell us how much we need and how much we must get paid. And we must be satisfied with that. Maybe they are waiting for that. Maybe we should tell them, you don't need that much money. As long as your basic needs are taken care of, you don't need the money. But it's not going to be easy for them. Why? Because they are governed by greed, and they are very deceitful. They're using principles. You can see these people are deceiving us into agreeing to certain things. And I believe even this whole COVID-19 thing, there are certain deceptions that are taking place. I'm not saying the pandemic is not here. I'm not saying that these things are not happening, but there are deceptions that are taking place as well in between that. So I'm going to close now before I say too much, and then I don't have anything to say the next time I talk to you. So come on board on Sunday morning. We are going to be doing the spoken word here on the Bread Basket Show, and then in the evening is going to be the weekly review at 7 o'clock on Sunday. So Friday and Saturday, I take a break. It's good to have a break. We can't be working all the time. We're going to be busy doing other things. I'm going to be probably watching some stuff on the live stream maybe get a chuckle here and there. There's some live event happening with a comedy. I'm not gonna advertise for them yet. I can't give them free airtime. But there's a comedy happening here in Durban, in KZN. I think I'm gonna go and listen to that and watch it. Just get a laugh. If I do have the opportunity. And then I did sign up for some educational stuff, just to get more education for my book. Equip myself. I listen to stuff. I also empower myself so that my earning potential must increase and I become a more productive person. I want to get much out. I've already published 4 books. I want to publish my 5th one this year and go on to the 6th one. I want to finish the Ultimate Productivity Quest series. I plan to do 5 books. If there's more coming out of me and I want to continue with the series, I will continue. But I had planned to go up to book 5 and then I'll start another project afterwards. I want to write other stuff. There's a book that I've put on my waiting list. I'm going to call it Crackio, the Dry Jokester. It's a fictional or fiction-based book. It's not real. It's just my imagination running wild. So I did blog about Crackio, the Dry Jokester, on my blog post on my website. Go and read it if you want to read it. That was just a teaser for the actual book. But I'm going to finish the series first and then start with that project and see how far it goes. I want to bless my generation with the skills that I've accomplished, the gifts, the talents, whatever it is. I'm also waiting for my poems to come back. I wrote a couple of poems which I've included in my book. I asked somebody to put music at the back of it, and as soon as the person is finished putting music to it, I will upload it on the music platforms and you will be able to stream it and listen to it. I also want to put it on CD and test that out so that I can just distribute it and be able to sell it and use a different way. I like to think out the box. It's not new to go out and market my books that way. So they'll just get a taste of what's in the book through the poetry. So that's another message I send through poetry. I write poems. I also want to improve on that as well. But don't hold back. I've been busy. You can also be busy. And once those things are out, you can still work on generating the income when you're busy doing it. Don't give up very easily. Don't stand back. I'm going to do more with my life. I'm going to do a lot. And no one's going to stop me from becoming who God has designed me to be. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a successful business owner. You got to tell yourself these things. I'm going to be a successful business owner. I'm going to be a change agent. I'm going to impact my generation. Do it and tell yourself that. Don't worry about the masters of the game. Even if they try to stop you, trust the Lord to bring about whatever it is that you want to bring about. So I bless you, I honor you, and I'll see you, talk to you on Sunday on this live chat. Sunday morning, come on board at 10 o'clock if you don't have a place, you don't go to church, you want to hear the word of God. You hear my stuff, I talk about God. Why? Because that is my worldview. My life is nothing without God. Even if I'm motivating you, there is going to be a section maybe that where I will just include God. Why? Because our lives are important to Him. That's That's who I am. I'm a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. And when I talk, I talk about him. Not all my talks. If I'm teaching like a business lesson, then I can just talk. But if the topic comes up, maybe somebody asks me a question, or I have to share my personal story. My personal story is nothing without him being included in there. But at the end of the day, he is the one that gives me all of these ideas. I know there's other people that do it other way. This is the way I do things. And I bless you guys. I'm so excited. I was going through my old books as well, and I'm checking, oh, there's so many things that I have done, and I've come so far, and I'm gonna go further. I know that, and I'm gonna take as many people as possible with me, do the things that I've learned. Until Sunday for the spoken word. Goodbye.